Good evening, everyone. Good evening, guys. I hope my audio, video, slides, everything is clear to you. So, guys, this is Komal Gamlani Santani here. I welcome you all on this wonderful platform of Dhruvika Academy, where we are running a wonderful series of 1000 MCQs where we are going to practice previous year questions and similar pattern questions that have been asked in the previous year's PGCET MCA paper. So guys, I really hope that you have got yourself registered in this amazing batch called SAMRAT PGCET 2024, where you are going to get a number of facilities. So we'll discuss these features, facilities in the upcoming session, in the ongoing session in between. So for now, let's start our today's session where we are going to practice some very important PYQs that you can expect in your exam. So guys, I believe that you people have watched the previous session and you have practiced those questions well. So similar to those questions, today we are again going to discuss some very important questions of averages. So let's begin. So in the previous class, I explained you a very important property of the averages. Yes, I believe you remember the property. The property was that if all the observations are added or subtracted or multiplied or divided by a constant number, then mean, median, mode also gets multiplied, added, divided or subtracted by that constant number, right? We even took the example that happens in our family. So whenever our parent bring some chocolate or some article for our young brother or young sister, it's but usual that we also insist them to bring them for us also. So same is the case with the mean, median, mode. So if they see that all the observations are increased or decreased or multiplied or divided by any number, so they also insist that yes, we also want that number should be multiplied to us also. So that's the same scenario with this property that we named as change of origin and scale. That is, mean, median, mode are directly affected by change of origin and scale that we studied in the previous session. And guys, let me tell you, this is a very amazing property and it can be asked in multiple ways to confuse you. So make sure that you don't forget this property. And yes, this property will again and again come to meet you in different topics. Like here you have in averages you have a different implication of this property. And when you study the measures of dispersion, you'll have a different implication of this same property. Then when you'll study correlation and regression, there again this property is going to come to meet you with a different implication. So be very, very careful with this property, because this property is quite easy, but it usually confuses a lot to the students. But need not to worry, we are going to discuss each and every property in a detailed manner. So let's start our today's session, guys. So this is our first question. It says the average of 10 observations is 14.4. okay, if the average of the first 4 observations is 16.4, the average of the remaining 6 observations is, see, this is a question of combined mean. This is a question of combined mean. Now if you are clear with the concept of combined mean, you will be able to crack it very, very fast. See, what is the formula for combined mean, guys? Yes, what is the formula for combined mean? Any idea? If yes, then do mention in the comment box. What is basically the combined mean? Combined means you are combining the data of 2 or more series and calculating the combined mean of the new data. Okay, suppose in a class there are 10 boys, okay, their average marks in mathematics is 20. Okay, and in the same class there are 20 girls. Okay, now 20 girls in the same class, and the average of 20 girls is, let's say, 25 marks. I have just taken the random numbers. Okay, 25 marks, that is the average of the marks of this of the marks scored by the girls in mathematics. Now if I say that I want to know the average of the entire class, okay, average of the entire class, that is no boy no girl, that is I want entire class number of students would be now 30 in this scenario. So this was your series number 1 initially, where you had n is equal to 10, and this was your series number 2 where you had n is equal to 20. Now what are they saying? You want an average of the entire class, right? So now the new group would be, n would be how much? 10 plus 20, that is 30. Now in order to find the average, you need the sum of the all observations, right? So how you are going to find the sum? It's very simple. First find out the sum of this group. How to find the sum of this group? You should be aware of the very basic formula of the mean, which is x bar is equal to summation of x upon n. Okay, you basically need to find this sum, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to multiply this x bar and n. You'll get the sum of the marks scored by 10 boys, right? So sigma x of the first group would be 20 into 10, that is 200. All right, now talking about similarly the second group, the marks scored, the sum of the marks scored by 20 girls would be 25 into 20, that's 500, right? So all in all, sum of the marks scored by 30 students would be 200 plus 500, that is 700. Right? So combined mean, also represented by x bar 1 2 is equal to what? Sum of the marks scored by all the students, that is 700, divided by total number of students, that's 30. And you can just divide it and find it out. So this is how we find out the combined mean. Now the question that we are discussing now, it's a question where, just go through the question once again. Average of 10 observation is given to you, and average of the first 4 observation is also given to you. You need to find the average of remaining 6 observations. That is, this is a question where you have been given the combined mean, then you have been given the mean of one particular group, and you have to find the mean of another group. Okay, that's the case. So how we are going to do? It's very simple. See, if I just tell you by the number line, you really need not to remember any formula. See, if this line represents the sum of the marks scored by total number of students, that is the total number of observations, that is 10 into 14.4, that's how much? 144. Okay, now if you subtract the sum of the marks scored by 4 observations from this, okay, how you are going to subtract the sum of the marks of the 4 observations? Simply multiply the average by 4, that is 16.5 into 4. 16.5 into 4. So how much it would be, guys? It's very easy. 5 4s are 20, 6 4s are 24, 26, 66, right? So 16.5 into 4 is equal to 66. So just multiply the sum of the values of the 4 observations from the sum of the values of 10 observation. You will be just left with the sum of the value of the 6 observations. Now if you have the sum of the value of 6 observations, you just need to divide it by 6 and you will get the average of 6. It's that simple. That you need not to remember the big formulas of combined mean. If you are clear with the concept, then you can quickly do this way. Okay, so 144 minus 66 upon 6, right? So simply subtract 66 from 144. 14 minus 6, that will give you 8. 13 minus 6, that will give you 78. So 78 divided by 6, that's 13. That's 13, right? Option B. So I hope it's clear. I hope guys it's clear how to deal with this type of question. Right. Now let's move to the next question. The mean of the first 3 terms is 14 and mean of the next 2 terms is 18. The mean of all 5 terms is. Now this is a case where they are asking you to find directly the combined mean, right? First 3 terms, the mean is 14. Next 2 terms, the mean is 18. Find the mean of all 5 terms. See, if I draw again a line and if I say this line represents the sum of the values of 5 terms, right? Okay, now this is the sum of the value of 3 terms and this is the sum of the value of 2 terms. Okay, so 3 terms, it's 14 into 3, right? And next 2 terms, 2 into 18. Are you getting why I am multiplying it? It's simply because of the formula x bar is equal to sigma x upon n. I am having x bar, I am having n. You just need to multiply them and you'll get the sum. That's why I am multiplying the average by the number of observations, right? So I believe it's pretty clear in your mind. So 14 3s are how much it's guys? 42 plus 18 into 2, 36. So just divide it by 5. So 42 plus 36, that will give you 78 upon 5. So let's divide it. 15.6. That's option D. That's option D. Okay, so I believe you are getting clear with the concept, right? Next question. For the observations of the range is. Now guys, range, it's the simplest of the measures of dispersion. See, in case of measures of dispersion, you have a number of measures, like you have range, you have quartile deviation, you have mean deviation, you have standard deviation. Now out of these 4, the simplest one is range. What is the formula of range? It's very simple. The value of the largest observation minus the value of smallest observation. That is difference between the largest observation and the smallest observation. We call it as range. The simplest one. Okay. So this measure of dispersion basically focuses only on the extreme terms. That is, it has nothing to take any concern with the observations lying between the first and the last term. Okay, when data is arranged in an ascending order. So it basically focuses only on the extreme terms, that is the largest observation and the smallest observation, and this is the reason that range is not preferred when you are being given the open end interval data. That is where the first where the lower limit of the first class and the upper limit of the last class is missing. In such scenarios, the range is not suitable. Okay, so let's quickly solve this question. So you have this data, find out the largest and the smallest value. So just by observing, we can find the largest value as 10, right? And the smallest value I could see is 1. Okay, so range is equal to largest observation minus smallest observation. that's 10 minus 1 equals to 9. That's option B. Now what if they would have asked you to find coefficient of range? What if they would have asked you to find the coefficient of range? See, coefficient of range always expressed in percentage. Okay, so what's the formula of coefficient of range? L minus S upon L plus S into 100%. Okay, so 9 upon 11 into 100%. Fine. So this way you can find the coefficient of range also. Now let's proceed to the next question. It says if the mean value of 7 numbers is 9, you have been given these 7 numbers, then the missing number x will be. Okay, so observe the 7 numbers. Observe the 7 numbers. You will find one number as missing. You'll find one number as missing. So they have given you the mean of these 7 numbers as 9 and you need to find the missing number. It's very easy. Just multiply the mean and number of observation, that is 7. You will get the sum of these 7 numbers. Just subtract the sum of the 6 numbers that are given to you from the sum of 7 numbers. You will be left with the 7th number, right? So again, if I depict you this question through a number line, so this is basically representing what? Sum of the numbers of 7 numbers. Okay, now when you'll subtract the sum of 6 numbers from the 7 numbers, you will be left with only 7th number. You will be left with only 7th number. Okay, so what is the sum of 7 numbers? It's very easy. 9 is the average, or I should write formula for you as well, sigma x into just a second, x bar into n. So x bar, it's given to you 9 and n is equal to 7. So 7 9s are 63. So this is the sum of the 9 observations. Now what is the sum of 6 numbers? It's very easy. Just find the sum of the 6 numbers. So 7 plus 9 will give you 16. 16 plus 12 will give you 28. 28 plus 4 will give you 32. 32 plus 11 will give you 43. 43 plus 5 will give you 48. So 48, just check once more. 11 plus 5, 16. 16 plus 4, 20. 20 plus 12, 32. 32 plus 9, 41. 41 plus 7, 48. Right. So 7th number is equal to what? 63 minus 48. So it will be how much? 15. It will be how much? 15. So that's option C. That's option C. Okay, so let's proceed further. Guys. Next question on your screen. It says if the mean of two numbers is 30 and geometric mean is 24, then what will be these two numbers? Okay, so this question will be pretty easier for you if you do it by option approach. How you are going to use the option approach here? That is the elimination approach. You need to find two numbers such that the mean of those two numbers is 30. So your first condition is x bar should be 30. Okay, x bar should be 30. And your second condition is geometric mean is 24. Geometric mean of these two numbers would be 24. So how you are going to calculate the geometric mean? So geometric mean is equal to 24. That means 24 is equal to square root of a into b. The two numbers. 24 is equal to square root of a into b. Or even if you feel not very much comfortable with square root, you can write it as 24 square, it's 576 is equal to AB. You can also use this condition. So at whatever level you are comfortable, you can use it. Okay, so now we will check one by one the options which satisfies these two conditions. See, talking about the first option, that is option A, 36 and 24. Now what is the mean of these two observations, 36 and 24? See, sum is 60, 36 plus 24, the sum is 60. 60 divided by 2, I'll just write for you, 36 plus 24 upon 2, that is 60 upon 2, that is 30. Yes, so it has satisfied your first condition, just put it a tick. Now you need to check that whether it is satisfying your second condition. See, what you need to do, you just need to multiply these two numbers, 36 and 24. So just observe the last two, the product of unit places, 36 and 24, 6 into 4, that's 24. So you will not find 6 at its units place. See, what I'm trying to say is the particular option will be your answer only when their mean is 30 and their product is equal to what, 576. So I just multiplied the unit digits, 6 into 4, I got 24. So there will be 4 at units digit if I'll do the complete multiplication, whereas in the second condition I want 6 in the unit place, so I do not need to do the further multiplication. Okay, so second condition not satisfied. Now talking about the option number 2. Okay, 30 and 30, 30 plus 30 upon 2, that's again 60 upon 230. Yes, satisfying the first condition. Now talking about the next condition, that is their product should be 576. So 30 into 30, we all know it's 900. So it's not satisfying the second condition. Now coming to the third option, 48 and 12. So what is the mean of 48 and 12? See, 48 plus 12 divide by 2. So that's 60 upon 2. That's 30. You're getting 30 as mean. Now let's check. Are you getting the product as 576? So 48 into 12. 8 2s are 16. Yes, there is 6 on the units place. Now we can do the further multiplication. That is 48 into 12. So 48 into 2, it's 96. 576. Yes. So this way our answer will be option number C. That's 48 and 12, which satisfies our both the conditions. Okay. So let's proceed to the next question. The average age of 15 students of a class is 15 years. Out of them, the average age of 5 students is 14 years and that of the other 9 students is 16 years. The age of the 15th student is. So again in this scenario, we'll prefer making the number line. So this is the average, this is the sum of the entire 15 students. Now they have given the average age of 5 students, right? So this is the sum of the ages of 5 students. Then they have given the average of 9 students. So this is the sum of the ages of 9 students. Now you are just left with the age of the 15th student. Okay, so what is this? Average age of 5 students is 14 years. So what will be the sum? 14 into 5, that is sum. Okay, sum of the ages of 5 students is 70. Now talking about the average of the 9 students. So 9 students average age is 16 years. So what will be the sum? 9 into 16. Okay, so 16 9s are 144, right? Now what you are just left with? Age of 15th student. Age of 15th student, right? Now sum of the ages of 15 students, total students ages sum was how much? 15 into 15, that's 225. So what we basically are required to do, we'll subtract these two sums from 225 and we'll be left with the age of 15th student, right? So 144 plus 70, that's 214, right? So 225 minus 214, that will give you 11. That will give you 11, that's option A. Okay, so I believe it's very clear to you. So there is no need to use the the giant formulas if you are pretty clear with the concept, right? Okay, now let's proceed to the next question. A man travels from Agra to Gwalior at an average speed of 30 km per hour and back at an average speed of 60 km per hour. What is his average speed? Now before I continue to the solution of this question, I hope that you people are clear with the concept of average speed. See, what is average speed? There's only one golden formula for average speed. What's the formula for speed, by the way? The formula for speed is distance upon time. The formula that is rooted in our blood since childhood, right? So what is formula of speed? Distance upon time. Now what is the formula of average speed? The golden formula that will help you to fight all types of questions related to this concept. The formula is total distance traveled. Now instead of only distance, what I am writing, total distance traveled upon total time taken. I'm just explaining you the concept now, and at the end of this concept there will be a short trick for solving the previous question. Okay, so average speed is equal to total distance traveled upon total time taken. Okay, so this is the scenario where I'll take one situation. What was the question? Agra to Gwalior. Okay, so what happened? We traveled from Agra to Gwalior. Okay, with what speed? 30 km per hour. Okay, 30 km per hour. Okay, and we came back from Gwalior to Agra at what speed? 60 km per hour. Okay, this is the question. Okay, now how to deal with this type of question, I'll be explaining you, but before that you need to see the concept, how to do that. See, first of all you need to be clear that how to find total distance traveled and how to find total time taken. I'll just give you one example that will create a good understanding in your mind. See, suppose the scenario is A, B, C. Now, the distance from A to B is 10 km and distance from B to C is let's say 5 km. Okay, and a person named Raj traveled from A to B, covered 10 km at the speed of 20 km per hour, and the person Raj traveled from B to C at the speed of 10 km per hour. Okay, now you need to find the average speed. Fine. So how to find the average speed? Our formula is total distance traveled. So how much distance did he travel from A to C? A to B it was 10 and B to C it was 5. So all in all total distance traveled was 15 km, right? Now in the denominator we have total time taken. Now how to find the total time taken? You need to be clear with this. So for that you have the formula of speed. Speed is equal to what? Distance upon time, right? So for the first scenario they have given speed as 20, distance as 10, or I should directly tell you the formula of time would be how much? Distance upon speed. So for the first scenario the time would be 10 kilometer upon 20. So that's 0.5 hour. Okay, then for the second scenario, time would be how much? 5 upon 10, again that's 0.5 hour. So total time taken to travel from A to C would be 0.5 hour plus 0.5 hour, that's 1 hour. That will give you the average speed as 15 kilometer per hour. 15 kilometer per hour. So how did you came at the figure? Average speed is equal to total distance traveled upon total time taken. Right? Now the special case that is being asked in the previous question, suppose from A to B the distance is 10 kilometer, and to travel from A to B he went at a speed of 20 kilometer per hour, but on coming back from B to A he came back at a speed of 10 kilometer per hour. Now what is the average speed? This is the second scenario, right? So using the concept says in the numerator I want what? Total distance traveled. So how much is the total distance traveled, guys? From A to B he traveled 10 kilometer, and then he returned from B to A, he traveled again 10 kilometer, that is total distance traveled would be 20 kilometer. Now talking about the time taken. So again the time taken would be calculated the same as I told you. Speed is equal to distance upon time. So time would be equal to what? Distance upon speed. So for the first scenario, how much would be the time? 10 upon 20, right? So that's again 0.5. Talking about T2, so that is 10 upon 10, that's 1. Okay, so total time would be 1.5. So 20 divided by 1.5, you can just do it like this. So it will be 2 times, it will be 3 times. So 40 divided by 3, and you can take the answer in decimal. So this would be the average speed. Now I have a short trick to deal this question. How to deal with this type of question? See, suppose the distance is d. Okay, from A to B the speed is s1, and from B to A the speed is s2. Okay, so average speed is equal to what? Total distance traveled, that means d plus d. Okay, and time taken to travel from A to B, that would be d upon s1, and time taken to travel from B to A would be d upon s2. Now d plus d would give you 2d. Now taking d common in the denominator part, you will be left with 1 upon s1 plus 1 upon s2. Now see, d and d will get cancelled, and you will be left with only this thing, 1 upon s1 plus 1 upon s2 in the denominator part. So whenever this type of question is given that a person traveled from this point to this point at this much speed and returned back from this point to this point at this speed, so no need to do the entire conceptual calculation, just follow this formula and you will get the answer fast. That is 2 whole upon 1 upon s1 plus 1 upon s2. So this is the formula for the question asked that we'll be using directly. Okay, so let's find it out. Direct formula is, we don't know the distance also in the question, and we are actually not required the distance, right? Because we know the direct formula, that is 2 whole upon 1 upon s1 plus 1 upon s2. So 2 upon 1 upon 30 plus 1 upon 60. So taking the LCM here, so 2 whole upon 3 by 60. So that's 2 by 1 into 60 by 3, right? 40 kilometer per hour. So do we have the option? Yes, option B. Okay, so this type of question we actually need not to do the conceptual calculation, and it would be very difficult for you because you don't have D. So you might get confused that D is not given in the question. How to solve this type of question? So you have a direct formula for this type of question, that is 2 whole divided by 1 upon S1 plus 1 upon S2. So I believe how this formula came, I've explained the derivation of this formula. So this is basically the result of the golden formula of average speed, that is total distance traveled upon total time taken. Okay, so that's all for today, guys. I hope the question of the averages are pretty clear in your mind. And yes, as I said in the beginning, I really believe that you people have got yourself enrolled with us, because we are providing you a number of features that you are getting, like you are getting live classes, an opportunity to clear your doubts with the faculty then and then. Even if you miss the classes, you have an option of recorded classes also, right? You can watch the recorded sessions n number of times if you need to revise it, or if you have missed the classes in case of any emergency. And if you get yourself registered now, you'll get an automatic access to all the upcoming batches till September. So the validity of your registration is till September. And yes, you get an opportunity to participate in 50 plus mock tests, along with Karnataka ranking facility, that you'll get to know what your position stands in Karnataka among the students preparing for PGCET MCA. So quickly get yourself registered, guys, because this batch has already been started. Classes are already going on. So now is the right time to connect with us and get yourself registered. So guys, see you in the next session, where we are going to discuss some more MCQs, exam oriented MCQs, that will help you to get an ace over the questions in the exams. So till then, guys, take care of yourself. Bye bye. Thank you so much.